Tamara Buchan here with Reclaim Initiative. It's Saturday, October 16th, and day 17 as we journey towards the 2020 election. Whose agenda? Yesterday we looked at Matthew 16, where Peter was given the goods with his revelation that Jesus was the Messiah, the Son of the living God. He got a new name, Peter. He got a new calling to build Christ's church. He got authority, and he got a heavenly key ring where he could lock up the things that were forbidden in heaven on earth, and he could unlock the realm of heaven on earth. He must have been feeling pretty excited and the pull of his new authority and position. But then Jesus begins to get serious with his disciples again. Let's catch up with him in verse 21. From then on, Jesus began to clearly reveal to his disciples that he was destined to go to Jerusalem and suffer injustice from the elders, leading priests, and religious scholars. Remember, those are the ones that you didn't want to cross. They had all the power in Jerusalem and with Israel. Now, they didn't have the power of Rome, but as far as Jewish people, they were the ones the people both revered and feared. Then Jesus also explained that he would be killed, and 3 days later, he would be raised to life again. Peter, feeling bold and authoritative, took Jesus aside and began to correct him privately. He reprimanded Jesus over and over, not once, not twice, but over and over, telling Jesus, "God forbid, Master, spare yourself. You must never let this happen to you." Why was Peter so emphatic? Well, they loved Jesus, and they'd committed their lives to follow him, and they had a lot invested in him. They'd left their friends and family and their occupations in many ways to go and follow him. And so when Jesus talked about dying, they began to fear because, first of all, they didn't want to lose their own life because they were associated with Jesus. But secondly, they had an agenda. They thought that they were following Jesus so they could restore Israel back to the good old days when they were on top and everyone looked to them as the model and the example of the best way to live. They were tired of being oppressed by Rome and many others before them. And they were really believing that the Messiah was coming to do that, to restore the earthly kingdom. So when Jesus said, "I'm going to die," well, that would destroy that dream. And the disciples were really bought in to that agenda. So when Peter said, "God forbid, Master, spare yourself. You must never let this happen to him," what did Jesus say? He turned to Peter and said, "Get out of my way, you Satan. You are an offense to me because your thoughts are only filled with man's viewpoints and not the ways of God." See, Peter, you've got a human agenda, but I have a much greater plan. And you're going to need to stick with me to be able to really see and live out that plan. And then Jesus said, it's not going to be easy, guys. If you truly want to follow me, you should at once completely reject and disown your life. Wow. At once, completely and fully reject your life. Not an easy word. And you must be willing to share my cross and experience it as your own, as you continually surrender to my ways. For if you choose self-sacrifice and lose your life for my glory, you will continually discover true life. But if you choose to keep your lives for yourself, you will forfeit what you try to keep. I don't give that word without much care and compassion, and without a bit of self-trembling myself, because Jesus is saying, you've got to let go of all that's familiar. You've got to reject it as things that are not important, even the 2020 election. Even what you believe this 2020 election will bring. See, it's not about the earthly agenda. It's about my kingdom. And if you want to follow me as king, You've got to adopt a whole new set of priorities, and that involves a lot of surrender. It involves a lot of letting go. It involves a lot of seeking me to discover what my agenda and my plan is so that you can fully align with it. I think we've been pretty comfortable as believing people. And now discomfort has come, and it may increase dramatically. It may not. It may all be fine. But as the kingdom is breaking in, we've got to keep our eye on the ball, on the goal, on what Jesus is calling us to seek first his kingdom and to live in his righteous ways, because then all things will be given to us, because we will be aligned with him. I bless you today, my friends, as we walk this out. May we all be given that same spirit of revelation that Peter received, and may we activate the spiritual keys that we hold in our hands. Amen.